Alright, welcome back to another Drawing in the Dark. Today is going to be a little bit different with not just my face, but I'm going to be drawing something a bit smaller on the page today and trying to make a shorter video that doesn't take me a week and a half to build. So here we are, and here we go. Let's scoot up a bit here. I did have an idea. I do often like to draw robots and stuff, so I thought I would jump into something like that with a little bit of a twist, maybe. Maybe. So I'm gonna keep everything about in here. And I'm thinking that if I can draw a piece here in a shorter amount of time, I won't have to do as much time elapse, and I'll be able to use a little bit more of this raw audio and kind of talk as I draw. I am using a bit of reference for this as a general concept. I had this idea looking at a few images online of something, how to explain it, something that's kind of like demonic and robotic at the same time. So as per usual, I'm using a pen. This is an 8x8 Illo sketchbook. There's not going to be any erasing or anything, and no matter where I go with this starting things out, I'm going to try to finish this piece and make it cool no matter what. You can use a pencil if you like. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with erasing and stuff. You know, this is the kind of pencil that I typically use, this mechanical pencil, when I'm doing work like that. And then I've got a little, bleach eraser. And but for stuff like this, I like drawing in pen a lot. So I'm gonna work out mostly just these basic shapes and stuff. I'm looking at this reference. I'm really not trying to follow it too super closely, in that I have an idea that I want to do with this. I just really wanted, something to look at as far as getting like one of these types of kind of like mech suit, Veritech, Robotech kind of robots going on here just for a minute. One of the things with a lot of my time elapsed stuff is I can't add any in the moment kind of commentary, and also that the speeding up really tends to make the process seem a lot more confident than it actually ends up being sometimes, where even though I might be kind of wandering about trying to understand what I'm doing in a piece as I go, it doesn't typically go off, or at least seem that way in some of the time elapsed stuff, where everything just seems a lot more intentional and confident in that kind of presentation. And, and thinking about it, there is a lot of like demonic kind of high-tech combinations and stuff in stuff like riffs, the role-playing game riffs, tabletop role-playing, not video game role-playing, that would include a lot of like demons and really high-tech kind of power mech suits and armor and stuff like that. The more I scribble around like this in an area, the fewer options I really end up giving myself. But also at the same time, then I'm kind of forced to deal with certain things that I may not have made decisions about or gone in that direction because of being able to erase, or say like being able to clean this up in my hand here. I don't really necessarily have that option. It's not a thing I can just erase. I have to figure out a new solution for. I mean, it's going to have to be obviously both. Those are my two, my peanut butter and jelly mixers here. And often enough with coming up with ideas, I found that that's the best way. You don't want to be trying to combine too much stuff together, but usually having, an A plus a B, that whole cliche, it's X meets Y kind of thing, that really will kind of give you enough variation and juxtaposition to develop something that's new and interesting, but at the same time not overloaded. So usually like cute and evil are a really good combination of stuff that seems to be popular, visually interesting. That's the kind of like peanut butter and jelly kind of combos that that you want to explore with. If you start getting into too many layers of that, if it's X plus, meets Y plus Z, that's kind of, pushing it, but at the same time, anything further than that, I think would be just going too far. It depends on the case, I suppose. And that's not necessarily saying like you should restrict your influences, but you should restrict your expression in a way to help build clarity. If you've got 15 things you're trying to reference or combine, I think then it gets to be a little bit more muddy and more confused as far as like what your message is and what you're going with. So say like with this demon mech kind of thing, all I really have to do is continually ask myself those questions of is it mech like, is it demon like, is this part right here or this other part over there fulfilling one of those two kind of visual expressions. And then that way, when somebody's looking at it and you're not really there to kind of explain or justify or defend your piece, it's able to stand alone. It's able to stand alone and kind of communicate what it means. And I think that generally is fairly important. And so I probably will be doing a bit of time elapse in some areas, and then other times kind of slow back down here so I can show some of that real-time development and do a little bit of talking and stuff. One of the things here is this process of developing, exploring. I really have no idea like where this is going. I don't have any kind of like pre-drawing. As I've already shown with my reference, it's just really, taking that as a super general concept, where it's not, I'm not copying it. I'm not trying to do any kind of one-to-one kind of transferring of anything. So this sort of thing can be pretty unpredictable. And why I often draw super light is because I can't erase spikes. Spikes on everything. Spikes will say demon. I'm trying to think of this stuff in the terms of volumes and shapes. That. Try to play with some of the perspective here and look at what I have drawn before and how I can even adjust that. I think one of the things that's going to save me a lot of time with this particular piece is I have no intention on adding a background or doing hours upon hours of shading for such a background. A lot of my earlier drawing videos, I have been able to work through the subject fairly easily, but then end up spending hours trying to finish an overly shaded background that just struggles. And just, well, I mean, the struggle is in the time that it takes up. We're gonna take a break. So let's finish out this drawing now, and move on to the rest of this process. think I'm pretty much done. This guy. So, there we have it. Thanks for joining in and watching along with another exciting drawing in the dark. If you want to see more of this stuff, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us along on Patreon. There's all kinds of links in the description for other merch, t-shirts, and ways to get a hold of me for commissions. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking it out. We'll see you on the next one. Later.